if you want to learn how to do this without owning any property. You don't have to own property to do this, guys. And it's actually very, very fascinating. And we're going to get into how to earn an income stream through doing this. So put a number one in the chat if you want to learn how to do this without owning property. Put a number two in the chat if you want to own property and still be able to do this. And put a number three in the chat if you want to do both. So again, just for a little bit of context, for example, this place here, we own this place. This is through mum. She owns it. She obviously, it's a very beautiful place, but I'm going to show you guys how to do something like this without having to own a place at all. Okay. So let's get into it because guys, this is exciting. So let us know what you want to do. So as we get into it, a quick disclaimer, none of this is financial advice. I'm just telling you guys through my experience. I'm here in Australia, but I have one Airbnb, and I'm going to get into the technicalities of it. That's bringing in income, that's able to there. I actually have two apartments now, but one of them is just for rentals only. And then like that one you've seen here on YouTube is one that is owned, right? This one here. So everything is through personal experience. So let's get into this. So there's two things that you guys can do, which is what I'm talking about. You could either sublet, which is basically I go and pay rent to a landlord, and then I earn the income on top of that. So for example, if I pay the landlord $500 for an unfurnished place, because let's say someone who owns a property, they don't want to furnish it. They just want to have it unfurnished. So I go into them and say, hey, I'll pay your rent. I'll be a tenant for you. I pay them $500 a month. And then now I can choose whatever I do with that to earn an income on top of that. So that's one model. And in doing that model, what you could do is now put it out for a full-time tenant. So let's say you get it off the landlord, and then now you also put it up for a long-term tenant, or you can now run Airbnb through that. You guys get it? So that's why I'm asking, and I'm going to show you exactly how you guys can do this. Okay, so it's a sublet model versus Airbnb. So this is actually our Airbnb. So we have two, and I'll show you. These are one in Australia and in Kenya. So as you can see here, you earn $21,838 through Airbnb, right? Just through having a property. And actually, one of them we don't own it. Just renting it out because we pay rent and then renting it out. And the other one is owned, which is through Nairobi, right? So this is actual screenshots, and I'll take you guys through this. Okay. So quickly, a small activity. I always do a small activity while I'm here with you guys. I'll just go back to here. A small activity I always like to do is I want you guys to close your eyes. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to, what does it feel like? Maybe you're from Kenya, maybe you're not from Kenya, maybe you're just an investor. But what does it feel like to see that? What does it feel like to see income coming in from your Airbnb, from your rental? You've received $1,500 this month, $2,000 this month. Maybe you have three or four, bringing you 1,500 each, 800 each. That income, what does that feel like? Knowing that you have an extra income coming in through something that you thought about. You've been thinking about doing this. How can I diversify? How can I invest with the money that I have? So what does it feel like seeing 4,000? And you're traveling to Kenya. When you're traveling to Kenya now, you have multiple properties that are being let out. Some Airbnb, some have full-time tenants in there, and you're seeing those numbers come in. What does that feel like? You don't have to go to work anymore. You go maybe because you enjoy it, but you have in this game and you are earning money through property. You don't have to go. You don't, this is your stream, an additional stream of income that even can replace your full-time income that you're working for now. What does that feel like, guys? What does that feel like? And that is what's possible. And I'm going to show you also why Kenya is such a powerful model right now. So this is what you can see here through Airbnb. Now you guys can open your eyes if you did close your eyes. Good on you, and get into that feeling. This is what now you're going to say, okay, now I feel like it. I feel wealthy. I got the money. I'm getting money through property. I got 10 properties. I got 5 of these. Now let's get into the technicalities of exactly doing this. So if you can see here, January, $715 earned in January. February, for example, $1,330, right? You'll see Nyumbani, the one in Kenya. Oh, sorry, actually, that's in Australia. The first one, and the second one is actually the one in Kenya, right? So those are not mine specifically. Those are with our family. Now, I'm going to get into all the juicy details and the technicalities of doing this. So let's actually start here before I go into anything. So, are you guys here familiar with Kenya? If anyone's familiar with Kenya, put a you can feel free to speak up or put a one or two in the chat if you're familiar with the areas in Nairobi, Kenya. Um, if you see here, I've obviously put in Westlands, Kilimani, Lavington, and Kileleshwa. These are the high end areas, right? These are the high end areas when people come and travel. Like I go to from Australia, when I go to Kenya, these are the places where I stay in. So when we to think about let's focus on the Airbnb model. Remember, guys, I gave you two models that we can do from the start of this thing. I think you the subletting model, which is you rent it out. I pay rent to the landlord and then I rent it out full time to a tenant, or I do Airbnb. Or, for example, here, as you can see here, mum owns this place, so she went and bought this place. So again, a quick example of that. I'll just show you quickly. A quick example of that is um, this is my mum. So what she did a little bit different to the model I'm going to go through with you guys. She bought that place. She's 60 years old, even though she looks like she's 25. She purchased an off-plan unit in 2020 for 53,000 US dollars. So off-plan unit, and she put a down deposit only, which was about 20,000 Australian dollars. So probably comes out to about even 15,000 USD. She's doing a mortgage because, even though $53,000 in Kilimani is pretty cheap, for a two-bedroom place, that's, we're in New York. We're in Australia, we're in Dubai. Can you go find a place in downtown Dubai for 50,000 US dollars? Not even a parking spot. You can even get that. No way. Forget about it. So off plan, she bought it for 53,000, put in a small down deposit, right? She did a mortgage. And then what she did was, this is what we're going to get into. Most people and most of the market, and this is where the opportunity guide lies for us guys. Most of the market in Kenya, do you know what people do when they buy a property? They just buy a property and then they just leave it unfurnished because it's like, guys, my mom spent $20,000 alone on just furnishing this place. This is not even let alone the down deposit for the place, but she spent $20,000 on furnishing this place because she knows, like she wants to do Airbnb. I got to go all in. So think about it. That's $20,000 for a down deposit only. She's got to pay a mortgage because it's a lot of money. And the reason why she did that is like, okay, I can also use 20,000, which could go into like the paying off the apartment. But no, let me save that. Let me do a mortgage and let me put 20,000 into furnishing the place. Now, a lot of people don't want to do that. You're already buying a place, which is a lot of money. You're already buying a place, which is a lot of money. Now you don't want to go and furnish it. You know what I mean? So that's why what I'm about to show you guys is powerful. So that's most of the market in Kenya. Most of the market in Kenya, which I'm going to show you here, this is what most people do. They buy a place and they don't furnish it. They just leave it unfurnished because it's like, oh, I'm already buying the place. It's already a lot of money. Okay, let me just leave it unfurnished. That's why it's cheap. This is like 65. This is like not even $500. That's like maybe 400 US dollars a month. It's cheap because they're not doing that's why my mom did a mortgage, because my mom's like, okay, I'm paying $53,000 for it. Then I got to put a down deposit, which is 20,000 Australian dollars. So imagine then she put another 20,000 in furnishing the place. So that's why she's done a mortgage, because mortgage allows me, I can just put a down deposit of 20,000. Okay, cool. I pay off monthly installments, furnish the place, which she spends quite a lot of money furnishing it. And then now, so going into that. So that's where the opportunity for us lies, especially for the guys who don't want to buy property straight away. So here we go now. So getting more into the technical side. So basically, this is the occupancy risk, meaning these are the blue zones. Blue zones this is where people, when they come, our type of clients, corporates, people on holiday, they come and stay in what we call the blue zone, which is the safe areas, right? Lavington, Kileleshwa, Westlands, Kilimani, and the Gigiri area. The occupancy rate for normal market conditions is 65 to 85%. Are you guys following me, right? Now, this is my listing right now. As we speak, this is my Airbnb. And remember, hold on, guys. What did I say? I said, we got this place, and I'll go through exactly how we did it. I'll go through a little bit of that for the newcomers here. We got this place unfurnished from exactly like most people. Someone buys a property, they don't have time to furnish it. They don't even want to put in that much money because they just say, look, I'm a property owner, but let me just put it out to a tenant. They can do whatever they want. I just want to collect, even if it's $500 a month. Hey, happy days. I don't mind collecting that. So this is our listing here that you can see on Airbnb. And I'm going to get into this, which is quite powerful. It's a very nice area. So yeah, this is our listing, as you can see on Airbnb, that we put up right now that, is getting 4 bookings. Okay. So this is a screenshot of my Airbnb account. So, I'm going to go into this. So look, you can see occupancy rate, which we can see here is 65 to 85% occupancy rate in normal market conditions. Now there's high seasons and then there's low seasons. And quickly, I'll just show you quickly, just to kind of show you a little bit of the technicalities. It was through me and my fiance. So we paid bond and rent. Like I said, you can get it cheap. So we paid 500 US dollars. So which is 70,000 Kenya shillings for, like, for example, similar to what I just showed you here, right? So like this, as you can see here, look, 85, this is in Lavington. Same, this is a 2 bedroom. Imagine ours is a 1 bedroom and we did for 70,000, right? So we paid bond and rent, which is, you got to pay 2 months rent plus the deposit. So about 1,500 US dollars. And then we furnished it for about $6,000 US dollars. So that's about 600,000 Kenya shillings. So let's go back, right? So I'm going here into the technicalities, occupancy rate. So this is, guys, when you do this, okay, Sujiro, what can I expect on my investment? If I do this, what can I expect? And this is just Airbnb, right? So this is our listing. This is high season. So guys, when we started this around last year, closer to this time. We started around June. So if you can see here, June, like there's nothing there because we hadn't started Airbnb. So we literally started in it was around June. So you paid 2 months rent. So by August was when I paid, boom, boom, we sent money, we furnished it, we made it beautiful, right? So remember, where are we right now? We're in April, and this is what's happening now. So high season usually for Airbnb is August, September, usually October, November, December. Why? People from America are traveling. It's the summer holidays. So our first month, I didn't show September here. It's on my phone. But our first month, I'll actually show you guys here. I'm going to show you here. So if I show you here, so so you pay, for example, furnishing. Again, remember, we get an unfurnished place. We furnish the crap out of it, make it really nice, pay 6 grand for the furnishing. And it's always ongoing, right? So let's skip it a little bit. So you can see here was August. So here, August was there, $440, right? So let's go back here. So August, $440. How much is rent, guys? How much did I say rent is? Let's go. Rent is 500, well, it's $500 a month here, right? So rent is $500 a month for this place that we're paying the landlord. So you can see in high season, so my first month, we paid like $60 just out of my pocket. Happy days. So that's why I always tell people, when you do this, you have to think worst case scenario. If I'm even committing to this for a year, can I afford the rent if nothing happens? What about if I didn't get any bookings these months here? I would have had to maybe pay for it, but we're an investor, so we were very tactical about it. We're doing things for everything for a reason. Everything has a risk to it. So August, I paid $60 in rent. Happy days. September was $566. And I wish I can just show you, which I didn't screenshot it, but down here it shows you how many days were booked. On this day, it was about like it was 14 days that were booked. It was and the reason why also, when you first start on Airbnb, you got to make it a little bit cheaper because you're just a new listing. So our nightly price is much higher, 6,500 Kenya shillings a month, which is about $65 a night. So that's why this was like 14 days. But now in September, I didn't pay rent out of my pocket. So remember, guys, I'm going to show you there's 2 ways to do this because it's not. I'll show you the 2 ways to do this. So September, I didn't pay rent out of pocket. You're going to see October, November. It looks like it's down. The only reason was in September, October, November, December, what we did, because also we're not just we're smart. I'm not gonna lie, we're pretty smart. We put it up on social media. We put it up on TikTok. We put a so we my partner ran ads on TikTok. So we started getting bookings outside of Airbnb. So also we didn't even have to pay commission. So and that's why Airbnb, of course, it doesn't show here. But October, November, December, we didn't pay rent at all. So guys, remember, we've got this place. I've paid bond and rent 1,500 US dollars, furnished it for 6,000. So I've spent 7,500 so far. That's it. Furnishing it really nice, paying bond and rent. Okay, boom. Let's put it up on Airbnb. And that's exactly what we did. In our first month, I barely paid money out of pocket. Next month, I didn't pay any rent. October, November, December, high season, which is what we're going into. I didn't pay rent. I wasn't earning money, as you can see. Am I earning $1,000, $1,200? No, I didn't earn extra on top of the rent. Hey, that's okay. We just started. Even, to just start like this I was like, oh, wow, this is pretty good. I was pretty happy, right? Because I'm not paying rent. As long as I'm not paying rent for a start, hey, we're winning, right? So, that was quite a win. So, like I said, occupancy rate. So now, what happens if it's low occupancy rate? Because there's going to be, like any business, there's going to be low and high times. So in a low season, it's 40 to 55% occupancy rate. These are actual statistics that I'm giving you guys. And in these areas, Lavington, Killeleshwa, Westlands. So this is low season. And low seasons are usually in January. Why? People are broke in January. People are coming back from holidays. So in January was the only time that now I had to fork out that rent. And it was 800 Australian dollars, which is about January. I hadn't paid January. Yep, I had to fork out rent. I was like, okay, cool. But I was still okay with it because I'm like, look how long we've gone without paying any rent. We're still also remember was still a testing phase for us, right? So yeah, January, as you can see here, no bookings in January. Empty apartment. Paid, yeah, empty apartment, right? And even yeah. So I was like, okay, that's part of the game. That's part of the business. In business, you're gonna have high seasons and low seasons. All right, we're getting into it. So February also had got also offline bookings here as well. So February I also didn't pay rent because we got Airbnb, but then we got offline bookings as well. We are in March right now, right? April is just here. In March, this month, look how much has come in. So this was about an 8-day stay. Someone's paid in for 8 days. So out of pocket in March, which March, even April, May are still kind of still slow seasons. And we're going into April now. So here, how much have I had to pay $200 rent this much in March, but I'm happy with that. I paid $200 this month as we speak. So this is the Airbnb game. So what have you guys learned so far with Airbnb, which I'm going to go into? It's going to be like this. And the more you get into it and the more experience you get into it, it's going to be like this, right? Up and down. But so far as an investment, because in the furnishing side is an asset, right? So all the money you spend in here, it's an asset. These are business assets, right? The couch, the like everything. These are all assets that you spend. And another important thing I'll just share with you guys now is you want to really have a good lease agreement. Usually the lease agreement, they can give you 1 year, right? We want to have a lawyer involved, get a good lease agreement and you want to think of it like you own the place, right? So you make sure it's a good lease agreement that you get, and then you furnish the place really nicely. So I'm just taking you guys through the Airbnb game, but I'm just about to show you something else, which I think is quite powerful. So again, this is the place, this is how you do it. So again, and I'm showing you the two different reasons. Now, the reason why a lot of people struggle to do this is who can I trust, right? Like even just this whole process that I went through, the amount of money that I spent doing this was a decent amount of money, decent amount of money. And still also there's money in sometimes making mistakes, which, we didn't really do as much because again, we're really smart and we're even getting better. So like I was, but most people, how can I do this? Who am I supposed to trust? I'm scared of being scammed. A lot of people, unfortunately, always put things off. Oh, I'll do it next year. I'll do it next year. I'll do it next year. Me, again, I'm a hustler. I'm a businessman. So I saw the opportunity. Of course, I can trust my partner. So I went into it straight away. So again, who am I? Again, there's some people who have been here before. You guys, I'm just going to go through this quickly for the people who are new here, and then we're going to get to something I'm going to show you, which is a huge opportunity in Kenya. And this is what I'm going to show you that we're doing in this model right now. So I'm Sujir Rabasha. I actually own a media company. We do podcasting for CEOs here in Australia, America, Dubai. We do their personal brand. We do their marketing. So marketing was a big thing being in this business. So I was like, wow, there's opportunity. See, I'm not just a regular Airbnb owner, right? I'm a marketer. So when you're a marketer, you can come into any business and take over because you know that you need attention. So anyway, I was able to create ETS Rabasha Media as a company with my father. So I moved to Australia when I was 3 years old. I was born in Kenya. My dad is Rwandese. My mom's Kenyan. My mom's a lawyer. So we really love our chicken. I really, really love chicken, guys. And then so I have two brothers, one older, one younger. So I'm a middle child. I've been a footballer most of my life, so that's why I guess maybe also I'm a hustler. My grandfather was a big footballer in Kenya, Neva. So yeah, and then I started a campaign with my father to take our African names. Again, I'm just going to run through this for all the people who have heard of this. For those of you guys who haven't, of course, you're new to me as well. So that's it. And then so my journey in Kenya was I fell in love. Basically, I fell in love. I engaged with my partner Anyango, and that's how I started this actual Airbnb business. So, like I said, most people have a trust issue. Who can I trust? I didn't have to have that issue. I didn't have that. That didn't concern me because this is my partner, so I can send that money quickly. She's a good interior designer. She knows style like me. She knows how to, do a place. She's a hustler, so we were able to do this straight away. Right. And again, for the people who don't know, I was in Kenya for Harambee Stars. I was getting a Kenyan passport. So that's what delayed me a little bit because I was going for the national team. And then I didn't have a Kenyan passport. I just had my Australian passport. So then I had to go get my Kenyan passport, bit of a process. So within that time, this is how I met my fiance. I'll just play it really quickly. And I was on a border, and I'm excited. I'm from Australia. We don't have borders. So I'm riding on the border. And then I see a girl, her pants were kind of sticking out. And I was like, wow, pretty, amazing. So the border kept going and I was like, turn around, turn around.
No way.
Yeah. Imagine. I was like, turn around. And then he was like, okay. He's like, I know them. So he turned around, he pulled up. And then I know when I'm in Kenya, my accent sticks out. So the girls, usually. So then I kind of put an extra accent on. I said, excuse me, can I please get your number? And then she didn't even understand what I said. She was like, huh? Mm-hmm. And then I was like, can I get your number? Get your number on my phone. You're very beautiful. Then she, of course. So that's just kind of a quick story again on how I got to where I am now. So that's exactly how I got into this, which is quite powerful. But then it turned into a business. Now, guys, let's get into the real juice. So I talked about the Airbnb game. So during this journey, I found something else and I said, hey, I talked to my partner, we're maybe playing the wrong game. So here's what you can do. I would say if you're starting into this, to start off with, you see, because look, for me, this is what I would advise. Our short-term game, we do Airbnb because look, August, September, then our first 2 months. So I paid 2 months already rent. I paid 2 months upfront already. So then we already got booked August, September. So then, it already now, boom, we're already ahead. I don't have to pay rent. So for a short term already, and also high season, so we're very lucky, right? Imagine if we would have started maybe in December, January, hey, I would have had to pay rent in January, but we started at the right time. So that's why I have an urgency because I'm like, wow, we're in April right now. So May is going to be, I'm not predicting much in May, June, kind of July, that picks up June, July, because we're going into summer. So even May is also a bit of a slow season. So we did it at the right time. So for short-term cash flow, guys, again, what's the play? You can go get an unfurnished apartment. Look at this, 2-bedroom, guys, even 2-bedroom. And there's so much more to show you. 2-bedroom apartment, 85,000. 1-bedroom, exactly like what we did. This is even cheaper than my place. I'm just showing you an example. I'm just clicking on random listings, guys. Remember, there's people who buy property and for them, they don't have time to furnish. This is most of the market. I realize this. Most people, if you go through these listings, you even copy this website that I'm showing you right now, even go see it for yourself. Most of these listings that I go through are unfurnished places. It's all unfurnished because, yeah, it's a lot of money to furnish it. We have people in our WhatsApp group, they're the same thing. They look at this. This looks nice, right? Even this looks nice, 65,000. Wow. They're like this. They just get a place and then they just keep it unfurnished because it's double the money for them to buy the place and then furnish it. It's a lot of capital. Look, all these places unfurnished, right? So that's what we did. Get that place, furnish it really well. So we make it into an asset. We make it into an asset. We spend money on the furnishing, and then boom, short-term game, we run the Airbnb model. Let's run that just to get the cash flow. Now, here is the next part. So the next thing is called now what we'll do is the next game is to get the apartment and now get a long-term tenant. So what do I mean by that? Again, I'm going to run this to you. If I get this place at 65,000 Kenyan shillings unfurnished, this is actually in our building. Interesting. I'm looking maybe potentially for some of our clients here. This is actually in the same building as mine. It's literally like this you would be like my neighbor. Is this one? Yeah, it might be. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm pretty sure one of them. I think it is. But we have even in our building we have some, right? So 65,000, for example, right? You can see this near malls, da 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 da. You furnish it, furnish it, furnish it, furnish it really well, and then now you put it up for rent. And I'm even going to show you my listing because I have a listing up here. But then now you could either do Airbnb or you put it up for rent. So if this is 65,000, now you could put it up for rent while furnishing it 165,000. So you take the difference. 100,000 is yours, Kenya shillings, right? So 65,000, like 400, 500 bucks, and then maybe I can rent it out furnished 1,200 to 1,500, which I'm going to show you potentially even more. So you get the $1,000 difference. Now imagine getting $1,000 every month. Let's say you do property management, give them even 20%, someone like us or whoever, and then let's say you take home $800 and you don't even have to do anything because you have this, it being catered for you there. So that is the model I'm showing you now. And that's a long-term tenant. So I don't have to rely on the Airbnb. I don't have to, I just have a full-time tenant that's going to pay double on what I'm paying because I furnished it and they don't have time for that. So now we're going to get into the technical stuff. So when you look for a place, there's something called vacancy rate. Now, I had a podcast with a CEO, a buyer's agent. I want you to listen to this because this is very important for us.
Yeah, so vacancy rate essentially is, if you think about the number of rental properties that there are in an area, it's the comparison of how many rental properties are there, and a vacant rental property is a property that's actually been listed on the market for more than 21 days. So you take the proportion of that compared to the available rental dwellings, and that gives you an idea of how quickly these rental properties are moving. So ideally, a good vacancy rate in a target market falls between sort of 0 and 3%. If it's less than 1%, it's very, very tight. And what that tends to mean is you've got a lot of renters fighting over the same properties, and that can enable you to maximize your rental income over time. So it's just one factor I look at for clients is not obviously, primarily we want to make sure that the capital growth increases over time, but you also want to manage the cash flow, because the more cash flow that you can generate from a property can actually play a big part on being able to then get and invest in your next property and ultimately building your portfolio.
Guys, I may have to play that again because it may have even gone to some of over your head. So a vacancy rate, he said the lower the vacancy rate is good because that means there's not so much supply. So basically, if we apply that to what's happening in Kenya, where my mum got her place, this is in Kilimani. And guess what? In Kilimani, there's so many apartment buildings, it's unbelievable. So that's bad because the vacancy rate goes up, which is what he's talking about. If there's a lot of apartments, a lot of supply, a lot of supply, a lot of apartments, a lot of apartments, then what's going to make me go and pay a good amount of rent for you when I can get a rent over there that's cheaper? So the lower the vacancy rate is good. The higher is not so good. So very, very important what he said. Listen, he said something here as well.
Yeah, so vacancy. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so vacancy rate falls between sort of 0 and 3%. Market falls between sort of 0 and 3%.
So 0 and 3% is good.
Yeah, so vacancy rate 0 and 3%. If it's less than 1%, it's very, very tight. And what that tends to mean is you've got a lot of renters fighting over the same properties, and that can enable you to maximize your rental income over time. So it's just one factor I look at for clients is not obviously, primarily we want to make sure that the capital growth increases over time.
So remember, guys, In this model, we don't worry about capital growth because we don't own the apartment, right? The capital growth only goes to the person who owns it. So mum there, you can see her apartment, she benefits from the capital growth. We don't really benefit from the capital growth here. What's our focus here?
But you also want to manage the cash flow.
Correct.
Because the more cash flow that you can generate from a property,
the more cash flow that we can generate from a property
can actually play a big part on being able to then get and invest in your next property.
In our next one. And we can still do it without owning it. So we are doing all of this without owning it. So what are the vacancy rates? So I was looking up, look, Kilimani is 15 to 20%, right? So it's higher because there's just, yeah, you guys, there's so many apartments that are going there. Westlands is about 10 to 18%. And let me go here because this was about 10, it was 10 to around 15, similar the same. Okay, Kilimani was 15 to 20%, which is meaning, and that's also unfurnished. So unfurnished apartments, 15 to 20%, because there's so many. If I go on that website now here, and if I go here and I go Kilimani, like I'm just specifically looking, actually look here, this is another one in our place. There's so many, look, this is just in Lavington, for example, look how many you can see. But so in Kilimani, there's so many, 15 to 20%, which is high. So that's why do you think also my Airbnb guys, this place here, there's a reason why I went in Lavington. There was a reason. Me and my partner, we didn't want to do, everything comes to intention. Every single thing was intentional, right? And this was not even knowing as much as we do now. But we knew Kilimani was oversaturated. And I saw that because I was always going to Kenya and I was always staying at my mom's place. And there's empty apartments. There's so many. So exactly what he says is you want to have a place where the vacancy rate is lower. So Westlands is good. Westlands, the vacancy rate is 10 to 18% unfurnished. There's a lot of new buildings. You can see a lot of projects that are happening in Westlands right now, unfurnished. So 10 to 18%. So meaning it also says how long, when I list this place, how long will it take for now someone to take it? So that's also the vacancy rate. Does it take longer than a month, 10 days? How long does that take? So Westlands unfurnished is 10 to 18%. Now Westlands furnished is 10 to 15%, which is still, that's okay. Furnished, because there's not many furnished apartments. And I'm going to go into something even more deeper than this, but there's not many furnished. So if you have an apartment in Westlands that's furnished really well, you're in a good place because that has good increases of someone to rent it out, right? Lavington and Kileleshwa, again, you guys can see this, it was around 4 to 8%, which is fantastic. Kileleshwa, 3 to 6%, also fantastic. Because Lavington and Kileleshwa, there's not so many new buildings. And yes, they're new and there's great amenities and there's new places like you can see in mine. It's a very modern place, but it's not so much like those other areas. And also Lavington and Kileleshwa are also very family orientated areas as well. So 4 to 8%, great places. Now, where this is going to be a killer for us, and this is where we saw the market. Do you guys know what a serviced apartment is? Can anyone put a number 1 in the chat if you know what a serviced apartment is? Because this is how we're going to make more money. And I'm going to show you exactly how. Put a 1 if you know what a serviced apartment is. And put a number 2 in the chat if you don't know what a serviced apartment is. And that's okay. I'll just wait for you guys. 1 in the chat if you know what a serviced apartment is, and 2 if you don't. Because this is what allows us to make some money. Okay. Let me know if you guys know. So I'm going to show you our listing. So does anyone remember how much I'm paying rent? How much am I paying rent, guys? I'm paying rent 70,000 Kenya shillings a month, baby. Look what it says. It says serviced 1-bedroom apartment with swimming pool in Lavington. I've just put this listing up and now we're in a small phases because what do I want? I want consistent cash flow every single month. That's over $1,000 that I get over the rents that I'm paying. Yeah, now you see. So let me actually go into a serviced apartment. A serviced apartment is also just different from a normal furnished apartment. A serviced apartment basically means it's like a hotel, but it's an apartment. So let's go into a bit further. So let me let me put this here. Can you guys see my screen? What does it say? Nairobi Service Department demand share. This was actually in 2018, this survey. It's even gone obviously now. So service department, it says the most people who take service department are corporate residents at 62%. It says private residents at 30%, holiday let 7%, and other 1%. I don't know what other means. What does this mean? Basically, a service department is basically like an apartment that you get, but it's like it has services. Basically, it has everything that you need. It's got the amenities, it's got the gym, we've got cleaners. So we run it like a business. So we have customer service. So when a customer comes and stays in our apartment, they get everything. They get a cleaner comes in 2 to 3 times a week. Customer service, anything thing. It's like we're running it as like a hospital, like a hotel. Basically, that's what a service department is. So you get it. So you get a place that's unfurnished. You furnish it really well, and then either that's where you team up with a team, for example, because a lot of you don't have time to do this. Obviously, we do, and we have the capacity on the ground. And I run a business myself. Outside of this, I run a business. And do you know what I do for my business? Anytime my customers message me, hey, there's no sleeping. We reply. We have a team. Anytime I have clients that I work with, customer service, da da da. So it's the same concept we do for a living. So we have a full-time tenant in there, and that's why we can charge higher rent. Because if this was not serviced, this would maybe go for, because it's a 1 bedroom in Lavington, maybe it could go for 140 to 150, which is still good, but not serviced is basically I give you my apartment, you have everything you need, it's still furnished, but it's not like we're responding to you all the time. We're not cleaning. You do your own cleaning, you do your own washing, you do your own things. But service means we do everything. Now, do you think I'm doing those things? No, of course, it's about building a team. It's a business. So you can see here, rent 170 to 180,000 a month, fully service cleaning 2 to 3 times per week. Da, 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 da. It's basically like a hotel, but your own apartment, kind of like an Airbnb type of thing, but your own place. So we make it into a service department, and that's where people are making money because, like I said, you can charge higher rent because it's a business. So you guys can do this as investors without owning, without even having. You just have a good team, a team that you can rely on. You spend money furnishing because that's $6,000. Or if you do 2 bedroom, you're going to spend maybe 800,000 Kenyan shillings, maybe even 10 grand over time, $10,000. But that's an asset, right? You get a good lease agreement. So 2 bedroom, which I'm going to show you, or 1 bedroom, you spend money on furnishing, you spend money on the team. So now the rent that you collect, let's say you're now collecting this amount here. 180, let's say 20% goes to the property management. So 20%, that's $200 goes in. So hold on. And let's just make it more practical, guys. 1 second quickly. Hey, ChatGPT, how much is 180,000 Kenya shillings to Australian dollars? No, to US dollars. I like US dollars anyway. So 180, I just want to make it practical for people. 180,000 Kenya shillings. I think we can even go higher. But 180,000 Kenya shillings is 1300 USD. 1300 USD. And the rent is 500 USD. So let's round it up. 1400 minus 500. That's $900. $900 left that I take. I give $500 to the landlord and I take $900. Out of this $900, let's say to manage the cleaning and all the service and da da da, $200. Kenya, $200 that goes that you takes care of everything. Cleaners, da da da. I'm left with $700 cash. What did that guy say? He said, we want to build up the cash. I could build up that cash, $700. Imagine this is coming in your account. You're not doing anything. Da, da, $700. Da, da. That's just building up in your account. That goes for boom, boom, boom. Now that's capital that you have. And that money you could either use to get another one or you can use it to even buy your own place. So let's go back here because this is very important. So that's the difference. And I think that what I'm charging, I may even go a bit higher. That's just the starting price. So, okay. So now why does it say 62% for corporate residents? Let me show you something. So I had a conversation which I'm going to have a live podcast with her on Friday, this coming Friday. She's a relocation consultant. So what's a relocation consultant? What does it say here? Corporate residents, 62%. Why? Because corporate residents, someone who's coming, what's happening in Kenya? Kenya's, as you can see here, it's the financial capital of East Africa. Multi-banks, telecoms, and multinational companies are moving to Nairobi. So these companies, they come to someone like her and say, hey, listen, we've got an employee on a 18-month project in Nairobi. She told me most of the assignees, she gets a lot of assignees that will come, 6 month, from even 3, but usually from 6 to 12 months, they come in. So they just want to come into a nice place for 12 months. Do you think they have time to furnish a place? They're coming in, they're working for T-Mobile. They're coming in to work for their company. They don't have time to furnish. They don't have time for none of that. They just want to come in to a beautiful place. So a serviced apartment allows someone, a professional who's a corporate resident, that's why it's 62%, because I'm not staying at a hotel, because a hotel is, I'm not staying at a hotel. I'm staying at a beautiful apartment. I've got cleaning, I've got washing, I've got perfect Wi-Fi, I've got everything. Basically, I'm just, and guess who? Why is it 62%? Because that person doesn't even pay for it. The companies pay for it. And the companies, they have a very good budget. And I was talking to her and I was just like, oh my goodness. She was telling, and you guys are going to find out more. I'm just even telling you now, wait till I have the podcast with her and we're building a powerful relationship, because guess what? She has people who are coming to Nairobi. They help them with schools, and now they help them settle in. So that's why the service departments, because the company pays for it. The companies pay for it, guys. So that's why for service. So, and that's what I want. When I want my place, I don't want any riffraffs coming to my apartment. It's a beautiful apartment. I don't want any riffraff. I want someone who's going to come in and look after it. And usually a professional, a corporate person who's going to be working, they're going to come in and look after your place, and they get the services. And we're a business, so we provide them the best business. That's why service departments is the new trend now. Right? So instead of me relying on Airbnb, I get a full-time tenant who's a corporate person who comes in and I'll show you even how much we can even charge. And the company pays for it. They have a budget. So she told me, she said, yeah, the company comes and says, this is our budget. For accommodation, we're giving this employee 200,000 for accommodation. So she'll go and she goes to find the place. So now she can come to Sujira and say, hey, Sujira, what properties do you guys have? Oh, look, I've got 2 apartments that are fully booked out. What's the client looking for? They're looking for a 1 bedroom. They're looking for, okay, yes, one of our other clients that we've set this up for 8 weeks, they have this 1 bedroom. Oh, boom, done. And then now you get a full-time tenant, a corporate professional who now has a 6-month contract. Even if it's a 6-month contract, that's okay. After that 6 months, we're looking who can come in and rent it next. But because we're offering a service apartment, so this is how you guys as Diaspora can do this. And this is where you earn money, because it's just different to Airbnb. I just want to show you, we have like a WhatsApp group, right? So like for a lot of people, some of you guys who are already in our WhatsApp group, I shared an article the other day and I just want to bring it up. Actually, let's go all the way down here, because we share a lot of things here. Let me show you guys this I just want to show you very, 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 very quickly. This is just an example, and this is just me kind of doing my extra little research that I like doing. So, for example, Group chooses Nairobi to accelerate East African partnerships and investment. Basically, this company, has established a regional office in Nairobi, Kenya, and created a regional fund with equity partners to expand investment and partnerships across East Africa. The group created in 2025, so they just announced that they're from Mauritius. It's a big company. Look, today the Group employs more than 13,000 people. So you know how much money a company makes by how many people they employ. So they're moving their headquarters they're moving their operations to Nairobi. So with people moving there, guess what? They need a place to stay. So that's now why that's where this makes sense, right? So that's where, for example, they'll come to someone, let's say like her, or there's other methods. So they'll come to relocation. And so that's what we want, guys, right? UN is in Nairobi as well. Now, let's look at the occupancy rate for service department. So for a service department, as you can see here, is 72% average over 3 years. As you can see here, this was back in 2026-18. So the yellow are hotels. So you can see the yellow are hotels, the gray is a service department, because people would rather stay in a service department than a hotel, because you get the same services like a hotel, which is what we do exactly. We run it as a business, but it's still an apartment. They get the privacy. So you as an investor, you're working in Australia, you're working in Dubai, you're working in America, you're doing your job, whatever you guys are doing here, you're a nurse, you maybe you own your own business. Whatever you do, you're earning your money. You get an apartment. You put in the money to furnish, to lease. You pay for a service to help you do this, and then now you get a guaranteed someone to come in and pay your rent for you. But instead of them, they're paying $1,000 extra, $800 extra, $900 extra. You now pay a team to help you run this on the ground for you, and you take the rest cash in your hand. When you come to Kenya now and you visit, even when you're visiting, the money that you're spending there is from here, these rentals. It's from the rentals that you're getting. Right? So now the money, you have extra money. So you can see here, so 72%, and like I showed you, what did I show you? So for Airbnb, what was the occupancy rate for Airbnb? Airbnb was, the occupancy rate was 65 to 85%. 85 is if you have a really, really, really good place and it's getting booked out. That's really, really good. That's a very small market. The other one was 65%. And remember, Airbnb is down, which it has the low occupancy. This one, having a full-time tenant, is more, it's 74%, it's 72 because it's a full-time tenant coming in and staying there. Very important. So what are the locations in demand? Clearly Westlands is winning. Westlands is 37% for Nairobi serviced apartments. Look at that, guys. Nairobi serviced apartment, Westlands is winning, 37%. Kilimani is next at 28%. Now, I'm working with my mum now, and I said, hey, mum, because you're my mum. Her place is absolutely outstanding. She actually had someone from the UN come and stay here. This is what you call a serviced apartment. She runs a serviced apartment, but she just runs it through Airbnb. But she's like, Sujiro, I don't want a full-time tenant because I don't want them to ruin my stuff. I spent a lot of money. Yes, she's very particular, which I do understand. But I said, Mom, don't worry. If we get a full-time tenant to come in there and look after a corporate professional, and for her, a two-bedroom like this, we're going to charge over 200,000 Kenyan shillings a month. And she pays mortgage about 150,000 Kenyan shillings. But we'll get someone in here, two-bedroom, we'll now charge them a rent. I would even say 250 to 300,000 Kenyan shillings a month. Now, I know mum, if I tell her, hey, mum, I've got you someone to come in for 300,000 because she has a serviced apartment, because we have a full-time service there, cleaners, she's going to tell me, Sujira, son, yes, do it. And she will tell me that straight away. As long as they look after my stuff, of course, we're going to have a cleaner in there coming in. Now that's money. She's paying back her mortgage that she's not even paying for it. But now that's extra cash flow that's coming into her bank account. And she's at a good place, because for a serviced apartment fully, even though I told you guys Kilimani, Luke, you can see here 28%. Why? Because there's not as many serviced apartments like my mum's, and excellent like my mum's. So you can see Westlands is 37, Kilimani is 26. It's going to show you Lavington 6%, CBD 9, Girigi is 2%, Kileleshwa 3. I believe those have increased with Lavington and Kileleshwa. They're not as high as Westlands. The reason why Westlands is so high, because that's like the business hub. That's where all the businesses are. So that's why I'll even tell I want some clients here who come through our 8-week program. I'm going to tell some of you guys, let's get one in Westlands, and we can get one in Westlands for 80,000 Kenyan shillings a month, right? So this is powerful. So this is, you can see, is our listing. And again, I may increase that price, 180,000, and I'm paying rent at 70,000. So let's go further into this, guys. Look what it's showing you guys for monthly service apartment rates across Nairobi. Look what it says. Parklands, you can get rent for 139,000. Kileleshwa for 147, and this is 1 to 2 bedroom. 100 or 3 bedroom, 147,000. CBDU 169. Upper Hill 180. Guys, look at my place. That's why I said I'm even undercharging. It was just because I'm just but we're going to increase our price. Guys, for Lavington, and that's also because this is 1 and 2 bedroom. Look at what it says at Lavington, guys. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? This is a monthly serviced apartment rate across Nairobi is 200,000 Kenya shillings a month. Because why? It's a serviced apartment. It's not just a normal apartment that's furnished. It's an apartment that's furnished, but it comes like a hotel with services. So of course you can charge higher. Hey, ChatGPT, how much is 200,000 Kenya shillings in US dollars? Kilimani, like I said, for my mum, she can now charge over 212,000 Kenya shillings a month for a serviced apartment. It says it's about 1,500 US dollars. Fantastic. Kilimani, and in Australian dollars, that's even more. Kilimani, 212. Westlands, 223. Gigiri, because it's a very posh area, over 250. So you can see serviced apartments, what gets the most bookings? you can see two bedroom does really, really well, like my mom's place, right? Because why? Because a lot of companies, when they come, they'll come with their families. And if you come with your family, you usually come two bedroom. Even if you're coming by yourself, maybe you just want a two bedroom, you want another room, maybe people can come and visit you. Your family comes and visits you, there's another room for them. One bedroom, which is pretty good, which is us. Like when I spoke to the relocation consultant, she was like, yeah, a lot of people, she was like, a lot of them, she told me, so they'll come in for one bedroom. Like we get a lot of assignings like that. One bedroom, they come for 6 to 12 months. So that's why you can see here, one bedroom is at 35%. Two bedroom is highest 42. Three bedroom is lower because it's like that's quite a lot, am I going to pay for a service department? Three bedroom studio is also 14%. So one and two bedroom, this is what I would advise our clients. We want a mix of both. We have some like my mom who do two bedroom, some like me who do one bedroom, right? So this is, for example, me doing more of my work. Also, there's real estate companies that, so this guy, he's a guy from Europe that I've just spoken to, and that's what he does. He basically owns a real estate company and he needs people like me because he has corporate clients. So, like you can see, he says, thank you for reaching out. Yes, we work with corporate tenants. Could you kindly share some more details of the one and two bedroom units which you have for rent? So, that's me looking for us and for also my mum, and then also now to do for my clients, right? So he needs people like us because he owns the company. He has access to the corporate clients, to these, because he's a European guy, and these corporate companies. So he's a real estate company. So there's a relocation agent. So we diversify, right? I'm a businessman, so I say, okay, potentially we can build a relationship with a relocation consultant, but also there's also people who are like a letting agents who basically they'll go and let your place out, they'll go and rent out your place and earn a commission from it, right? Because they're incentivized. So he says, yes, could you, and then I said, he was like, I would like to know the indicative monthly rate that you'd like to receive the respective units. Our business is more focused on finding long-term tenants than short-term Airbnb type rentals. He only said that because I showed him what our places look like on Airbnb, which are wonderful. So he was like, oh wow, I would like to know how much rent do you want to charge for that? And because I can find those long-term corporate tenants. And even a company like him, they could even do the service for us. So I can come to him and say, listen, as long as you give me 180,000 Kenya shillings a month, I'm happy. Maybe he can go and maybe charge 200 for it, or he can charge 230 for it. He takes the rest for doing all the services, the cleaning. They even do everything. And that even allows us to not even have to do that, even for our clients. So we just tell our clients, how much do you want for rent? I'll speak with you guys and say, okay, guys, we can get this place for 180. Cool. We go to this guy, we say we want it for 180. As long as we get that rent, we're happy. He'll go to his corporate tenants. It's the companies who are paying for it. The corporate tenants say, okay, maybe they give them 250 for it, 230. He takes his commission and they do all the services, all the cleaning, all the thing, because, and we take our rent. We pay back rent to the landlord and happy freaking days. So I would like to you guys put a number one in the chat if you would like to do Airbnb. If you would like to just do Airbnb and you think you can get a wonderful Airbnb and do it amazingly well, and as a service department on Airbnb, put one in the chat without doing a full-time tenant. Because Airbnb, if you do it really, really, really well, Airbnb, you can earn up to $3,000 a month. Because think about it, if I charge $65 a night, $70 a night through short-term rentals, and now I'm getting booked out and I have a large occupancy rate, now that's a lot of money. So Airbnb, if it works extremely, extremely well, that's why in this screenshot, I'll just quickly show you here. That's why in this screenshot, why do you think here is 21,000? We have this, a lot of this money has come through here in Australia. We run here in Australia, we rent out our place here, and we live in Kogarah. So we live in this place near the airport. We get booked and we don't charge really high. So we just get booked out. So it brought in $18,000 last year. $18,000, that's like nearly someone's salary, literally through our Airbnb. And because we live here, we don't have to pay for servicing. We don't have to pay for any of those things. There's no expenses. We just do it ourselves. Mom and dad clean. I'll go in and clean the place, and then boom. So and it's not even serviced, right? So Airbnb, if it works really, really well, Airbnb can earn you quite a lot of money. Or what I prefer now is a full-time tenant. And that's why, and put a number. So number one, if you want to do Airbnb, number two, if you want a full-time tenant, or number three, if you could do both, which I'm in the phase right now, we're doing both.
Here are the pros and cons of full-time tenant. The pros in my experience are you have a set amount of rent that you know is going to come in for the life of that tenancy. And you compare that to, say, a holiday letting, it's far more sporadic. Now, you might be able to charge a premium through Airbnb or however you might do it, but it is sporadic. And my understanding is there are also more costs associated with running an Airbnb business, the cleaning that goes into it, etc. So you'd have to understand all of that. Having a permanent tenant in, and particularly if you have a property manager that's managing it, I can literally sit back and not have to worry about that particular property or that tenant.
So, what would you rather, guys? As we round off and we'll go into questions. What would you guys rather? Let me know, put it in the chat. So this is really the diaspora guide in investing in Kenyan real estate. And just one thing I'll leave you with is what is your plan B, right? That's why this is so powerful, because imagine without me having to physically go to work, I can earn $800 US dollars. Oh, I just want to say that because we're in Australia, so US dollars is more, which is the currency around the world. $800 through doing this. And that's without the property management fees. That's just, if you do have the property management in place. Imagine having $800 coming into your account every month. Maybe you just keep it in your Kenyan banking. Maybe you just keep it there, let it accumulate, right? Then you get three, you get four. So what's your plan B? If you lose your job tomorrow, what are you actually building back home? So many Kenyans are, just they're getting properties. Sorry, they're just sending money back home, back home, back home. So like, what are you actually building back home, which is quite powerful, which is a very important thing. So this is a way to do that, guys. So yeah, quite powerful in terms of doing this. So basically, I'll quickly just show you quickly. Basically, this is what we're helping people do. Basically go and do this, right? So basically, you sign up with us, and then we take you through this whole journey. We have a strategy call, knowing, okay, exactly. We go through these things. What's the vacancy rate? What's the areas? That the first month we may even take a little bit longer. Maybe even if we take 6 weeks, without getting the lease agreement first, we find out what's the best place that we can get. And then, if I just show you here. So, for example, we do a strategy call. Then we meet with real estate agents. So we meet with like they're not a landlord, sorry, the people who are renting them out. We go and look at listings. Okay, what's the best place we can get? What's the lowest vacancy rate? What's a good area? We do all of our research. Then we'll walk through that property personally. We'll go for you and walk through that property. Go and check it out like we did, right? Then we get the lease agreement signed and rent. But of course, we meet the lawyer first. So we come with the lawyer. Okay, what about insurance? What about if the building crashes down? What do we have insurance for all that furniture that we paid for? Okay, what about if the landlord decides to sell the place all of a sudden? Imagine you're running a business, you're earning income, and then the landlord comes and says, I want to sell it. So we're going to have some structures in place that we have the lease agreement before we sign that dotted line that makes sure before we get this place, and this place is going to bring us income, let's do that. So we introduce you to the lawyer, we get that done. And then the next after that, so that's month one. That could take 6 weeks, but usually month 1 to 6 weeks is getting that place. Once we got the place, you've paid the bond, you've paid the rent, you've got your own apartment now that you basically own. I want you to think like you own it. Now, as I just got to furnish it. You furnish it really well, furnish it extremely well. Again, we get an interior designer. We do a mood board. We work with you through this process. Without you doing it, you save time. You're here in Australia. You're here in Dubai. You're in America. And you're just like, Sujira, boom, show me. What are you guys doing? Boom. We're having conversations again. This is it. By the month 2, we've furnished it extremely well. Yes, you're going to put in money. Yep. Send money here. Boom. Send money. Furnish it. Furnish the place extremely well. Now you've got an apartment and you've got a furnished apartment. Now we just photography and video. If you see my mom's Airbnb, I was telling her the other day, her photos are beautiful. Because this guy, when we're going to clients, these people say to me, hey, Sujira, the relocation consultant, or this other guy will say, hey, Sujira, show me the places you have. When I show them, they're amazed because the photos are quality. So we do that for you guys. Photography and video tour on YouTube, as you can see me doing. We put it up on Airbnb. So I say to you guys, like for the chosen ones who work, if your first month you get no bookings, I will personally pay your rent. And because you're working with us, we're going to furnish it. Of course, I'm not just going to get any, like it has to be furnished at our standard level with our thing. Okay, this is what you should spend. But you do it like the way we've done it. I will guarantee you the first month rent. If you don't get a booking, I'll pay for it. Especially if we're going into high season. I already know. So that's the thing. What we'll do is here, the short-term game, as soon as we've got your place, we've furnished it, we're going to put it up on Airbnb. Get quality photos. Let the rent pay itself. That's the most important thing. You don't want it the third month. Of course, you want to budget it. But worst case scenario, yes, budget it. But that third month, I don't even want to pay rent. I will pay your rent for you if you don't get a booking, especially because I know the season we're going into. So the short-term game that I will work with you is we put it up on Airbnb. Let the rent pay itself. We get 1 week, 2 week, da da da, boom, boom, boom. We have it a little bit of a cheaper price on Airbnb. Test it out. Have our first few clients come in and stay there. Just in case before we have a long-term tenant come in, we want any mistakes or any things, any da da da. So we have da da da, and then now by month 3, by month 4, we've already got a full-time tenant lined up. That maybe they're moving by September. We're working with relocation consultant, real estate agent, da da da. So now, boom. Now by that time here, in 8 weeks, you guys can get this done. So by this time, it's like, okay, by October, we've got a full-time tenant that's going to be coming into your place. They're going to pay 2 months bond rent, happy days. And now they've got their lease agreement for 4 months, 6 months, 12 months. So for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, I have, and we'll say to you, okay, how much should we rent it for? I'll work with you. We say, okay, let's rent it for 220,000 Kenyan shillings a month. Maybe we'll do the property management, or we'll work with another real estate company and say, hey, you guys do the management, and we'll watch them. We'll be on top of them. And I'm a businessman, so I'll see. Let's do this. Let's add this. And that's why I'm saying service department, guys, is different. Because guess what else can we do? We can add airport concierge. So you get picked up from the airport. We run it like a hotel. So we can charge extra. So we have more services. So you're not just earning money from the living, you're earning money from airport concierge service, right? If they want to go to Masai Mara, we have a service there. What we do, if you want to have a podcast, we'll come in and do a podcast. Maybe it's a company, maybe it's a CEO who's coming, maybe it's a CMO. So we add services. Maybe we can help you run those services. You're not even doing anything and you're just getting a commission because it's your place. We do airport service, maybe you just get even 10%, 20% of that. And that's even maybe small cash flow that you can even have just for yourself because it's not even part of the rent. That's an additional service because it's a serviced apartment and not many people are doing serviced apartments. So you guys are already just being here, even just consuming this information, you're already in the 1%. Now, even less of you guys will actually take action on it. That's just how life is. People come to these things, get motivated, and they don't take any action. The people who are taking action, so you get a serviced apartment. So we'll come and do this for you. As long as things get put in place, we will do this for you. So I have my personal calendar. You guys can book in a time. So what we do, we only work with we have 3 people that we take in every single quarter because, it's a lot of work on the ground, a lot of work that we got to go and do this for you. So I don't want to just take in clients just because, it's money. No. Right? I would rather have less money with the few clients that I have and deliver the best service so we can get tenants come in, they get booked, and then we can now help the others. Because now imagine if you have a 6 month tenant in there, 12-month tenant in there, happy days. If we're doing the property management, we manage it. Anything happens, we'll be in touch. And then maybe we're working with you. Do you want to get another one? Okay, what else can we add? What other business ideas can we do? Right? Maybe we have a full-time tenant paying our rents. You're getting your $1,000 every month, your $700, $600, $500, whatever. Your monthly income on top. What else can we do to earn more money? Can we add this? Can we add this? How's the customer service? We're checking in. So, but then now we can also now go in and serve a lot more people. And because no one is doing service apartments. So these relocation consultants, these real estate agents, they need us because for them, they got to go and look for service apartments. And there's not many as much that out there. There's Airbnb, but there's not so many reliable people who will do it. So now if we do it with you, we do the best service. And now these people come and will just be bringing us clients. And then now we'll get more and more and more. So in the chat, so we have 2 people who have just joined us, or you guys have been commenting. So we have 2 people who have joined in doing this because they see the opportunity. We've been running these webinars, just teaching the game, and people say, Sujira, I want to do this as well. This is a good idea. I live in the UK. I live in Dubai. And so we've had 2 people who have just signed on board. So we do have 1 person that we can do this with. So what you can do is just book in a free coaching session. Some of you guys have had coaching sessions before. Just come in. There's no obligation. What do you want? What are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? And then, if there's a space that we can do it together, fair enough. If not, then I've just given you everything you need to go and do this yourself. Imagine everything I've given you guys. I was like, guys, this is so powerful. and do the research on this. Don't even listen to what I'm saying. Do the research on this. Guys, people are moving to Nairobi. And I said, I want to be different to everyone else. I've been in the Airbnb game myself. That's why I'm coming and telling you guys this. I've been in the game. I've shown you my numbers, right? I'm not telling you here I've earned, I gave you our numbers in Australia, but that's in Australia. Look, this is right now in March. Am I lying? This is in March, guys. Look, it's showing you 600. Yes, I only paid $200, but I'm just like, okay, for the short term, I don't mind doing that. I haven't been paying much rent anyway, so I've been good. We got another apartment that I just got, but it's one that we can live, so I can have a place that I live. So now when I go to Kenya, I don't have to pay for an Airbnb. I pay $500 Australian dollars for my rent in Ngong Road, and we've just furnished it extremely well. I go there, I go stay there, and this is where I'm doing this business. Now I'm got, so that's for like you. Let's say you're subletting, and then now instead of you getting Airbnbs every time you go to Kenya, even the money you're getting through this, you go in and get your own sublet, get your own place that's just yours, that you go in there, now you have a place. But you've got a place that's bringing you, it's even maybe paying rents for your apartment that you will live in. Imagine, right? Even and then you boom, get more. And then now you can go in and buy your own place eventually. So you can buy a place that you can live in, and then now you have 6, 7 sublets because people need this. These companies are moving to Kenya. We don't want to just rely on Airbnb. We can run Airbnb and we can get a full-time tenant in there. By the time we get a full-time tenant in there, we're earning extra cash on top of the rent. Extra 7. What would that do for you? What would that do for your life if you could do this? So that's what's at stake here. So yeah, I've just put it in the chat. I've actually put just my personal calendar because, again, we are looking this month, April, to now we get in our group and then, okay, let's go to Nairobi. Let's do this for you so you can do this. But what did I tell you? Serviced apartments is the thing, guys. Serviced apartments is really the thing. And it's for you guys now to take advantage of it. There's not many people doing it, and that's how we're not just charging normal rates. We're going to charge extra. We can charge up to 200,000 Kenya shillings for a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, even more, because you're not just providing an accommodation. You're providing a hotel. You're running it like a company. You're basically running it like a company. Let's say even through us, you're running it like a company, which allows you to charge higher rent, which you target rich clients. That's what I like. I target clients who have the money, and the companies are the ones who are paying it for them. So that's why you can charge higher. And there's people that we can work with, like a relocation consultant, like a real estate agent who needs places. They get commission, they get paid for it. We all win. And they're going to need more. Hey, Sajiro, I need more. Hey, Sajiro, I need more. I need more. 2 bedroom and 1 bedroom. Those are those in demand. Yeah. So I hope you guys took value from this. This was more of a technical session, a little bit more around vacancy rates, a little bit more around what you guys can see. What are the areas? We know Westlands, Kilimani, Kileleshwa are fantastic areas. Kilimani still okay. It just depends on what you want to do. I'm glad that we're in Lavington because the rent is not so high, but trust me, this is a place people are moving to. It's quiet, it's nice. You can get a nice 1 bedroom, you can get a good 2 bedroom for the same of what I'm paying. Imagine 2 bedroom, you just spend more money on furnishing. So instead of 600,000, maybe you spend 800,000 to 10 to 1 million Kenya shillings on a 2 bedroom. My mom spent 2 million Kenya shillings just to give you an idea. But she owns it, so it's a bit different, right? She owns it, so it's a bit more. She spent 2 million Kenya shillings on her 2 bedroom apartment. But you see now, because that's an asset, she spent 2 million on it, but now we can go find a tenant that can pay her 200,000 Kenya shillings every 215, 220,000 Kenya shillings every month. She pays back 150,000 for her mortgage. The rest is her cash in her pocket. Now that's money that she accumulates while she's in Kenya. She's doing Airbnb now, the money, and she's getting bookings now. The money that comes in goes, just in her bank account. But see, for her, it's up and down. It's not enough cash flow, and she knows it and she can feel it. But this is a way for us to avoid that, right? So book in your session if you want to get this done for you, or if you just want to have a chat to learn more information, and then we'll go in and we'll do this for you. And again, like I said, my offer is, guys, if your first month, you're going to already pay 2 months bond rent, but that month after, if you don't get any bookings, I have a contract that we sign with our team, with the people who join us. I will pay that rent out of my pocket. That's how confident I am, because I know we have 2 games we're running. We put it up on Airbnb. We'll get bookings on there because we do it with class. But then with our relationships and what we're building, we're going to get a full-time tenant to get you $1,000 a month, $1,200 a month, and then you take the rest cash pay property management, and then we build more. We say, how can we earn more money from it? How can we get 1,500? Boom, add more services, add more services. You just get commission from the services that we add. You don't even have to do those services. Airport concierge, podcast, Masai Mara tours, da, da, da. We add extra services for them. They want to do surprises, da, da, da. We run it as a business. You're just going to be like a investor in it. That's it. You're just an investor in this. You're just someone, you've put up your money in, and then now you just have your money coming in every month. And then as an investor, you may have other ideas. Hey, Sajura, what about this? What about this? And I'll give you an idea. Maybe again, we can have a property management company do it all for us because they've found us the tenant. They've gone and found us the corporate tenant. We didn't even have to go look for it because their clients are coming to them and say, hey, we need this. They don't have it. So they see our things. They can see the quality that we have. Boom, I found you here. They do the property management for us. And me and you we're just working on the high level stuff. Let's go get another one. Let's go get another one. Maybe they tell us, hey, Sujira, the relocation. So now we have income stream coming from 2 places, 3 places: Airbnb, relocation consultant, real estate agent. It's that's how we guarantee this income. And that's why how can we make this guaranteed? Everything is a risk. Everything is a risk. But if we do the lease agreement really well, we have good terms. We make sure the terms are fantastic, so we're not getting played. And then after that, then it's just about, okay, getting a tenant, which is the hardest thing. Airbnb, full-time tenant, and then we take that cash in the hand. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, you can click the link in my personal calendar so we can go get started, or just even ask questions, and I'll see you guys. Oh, by the way, do you guys have any questions? Questions, please ask any questions. This is your time. Questions. Any clarity that you want to know, anything like what's on you. I know a lot of you guys have been thinking about this for a long time. So what questions do you have that, that are not sure for you before we get out of here? Don't be shy, guys. Anthony, do you have any questions for me? It was pretty clear. I covered pretty much. Some people tell me that, I do like some other presentations, and they say to me, Sujira, I said, do you have any questions? They say, like, you pretty much covered everything. And I always laugh. I'm like they're like, yeah, you covered like the questions they had, they're like, you answered them even already. So there's really nothing for me to say. Well, that's fantastic. Well, yeah. Thank you very much for that comment. For the rest of you guys, if I haven't covered anything, if there's any concerns, any worries, because as I said, there is a risk, right? You got to pay the lease, you got to pay furnishing. Again, we charge for what we do in terms of helping people save time and just get this done for them, so they can just be sitting in their country working, earning their money, so that they can invest in the furnisher. They got to because you got to pay for the furnishing, you got to pay for the lease agreement, you got to pay that small percentage to the lawyer. You got to obviously pay for those things, and then okay, because you can do that yourself, but it's like, okay, how can I do this with someone on the ground who knows what they're doing, who's a professional, and who can get shit done, who can get results from? Because people want outcomes. That's what I do in my business, ETS from Basher Media. We make money is because we serve people. People want outcomes. They don't want to have to do this, and they just want to be, yes, I can spend some time in terms of talking about it. Okay, we have weekly to fortnightly to monthly meetings. What's the progress? What's happened? This is how much of money I've received. I love those type of meetings. Then we're talking about, okay, then we're even doing a podcast. Maybe you're telling people that you're doing it. So now, maybe if even other people know that you have a place, so maybe maybe we get a place in Mombasa now. We have this here that we're earning money from. Then we partner, we come up with ideas. So that's the next level. The basic level is you do this, it's bringing you income. You have a corporate tenant that's staying for 12 months, 6 to 8 months, that's bringing you $1,000 a month. Cool. That's done. That's coming to my account. I'm paying boom. We're happy. Anything, any little things happen, we're going to be there for you, for the client. That's taken care of. And then now that's money coming in. Okay. Maybe we can get one in Mombasa. Maybe we can do a podcast together. Maybe we could do something. How can I get another one? Maybe I get a place in Mombasa, do a place in Mombasa. People are always renting that place. Boom, high returns there. Okay, let me get a place in Mombasa because I'm getting cash from here. I'm using the cash that I'm getting here. Boom. So now I have cash coming from Mombasa. I have one coming from here. Okay, boom. So by the time 3-4 years goes by, you've got like 4 or 5. I've got 2 apartments now. One that we can live is still an asset. So, and this has just been I haven't even been to this a year, but I've got two apartments that I've been now able to put in, right? So by next year, but 6 months, I'm gonna have more and more. So, in you can 3, 4 years, you can now be living in Kenya, or you can be gone in Kenya, Australia, Kenya, and you have like us, we have Airbnb here. But imagine now you're going back and forth, you have money coming, you're working, but now 3, 4 years, this could even be your retirement. This could be your retirement. And the cash that you accumulate, maybe you buy, and you keep the subletting model, right? Keep the subletting model because now this is only growing in the next 10 years. African Cup of Nations is coming next year. People are traveling. There's more people are traveling. This next 10 years, we're going to capitalize on, right? So I know elections are coming up next year. Sometimes that can cause a fear. What about the nice areas? Could, things happen? We saw what happened in Dubai. You know what I mean? The good thing about the subletting model is, okay, we are subletting it. So let's say we have a year contract. Maybe we put in the contract, like, look, if worst case scenario, something happens, yes, let's say this place has been bringing us $1,000 a month. It's been bringing us cash, cash, cash. Maybe something happens. Can I, of course, if we have to, we can get this, if we can get insurance, so you get your place, all your furniture insured. If something happens, you get cash for that. Okay, oh, cool. I can insure the furniture. Cool. If let's say the lease agreement, because a catastrophe happens, boom, I'm not stuck in a lease agreement anymore. It's not even my property that I own. So of course, that's going to be a cash flow. But at least you've already been able to accumulate cash from that place. And then, but I'm just giving you the worst case. I'm just thinking of things that just outside of the bubble. But as the way usual things are, where we are now, this is just it's not even like surfacing. There's so much more to go. So that's why what this model I showed you, this service department model, really is what's happening. So I'll see you guys on the other side. Thank you for joining. And again, in the chat, you can book in your session. Make sure you click it to book in, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Peace.